It's Weekly Weird News. But how are we supposed to do this show after the very, very weird week we just had?
Yeah.
We've already covered the former president getting shot and nearly killed, and then immediately heading to Milwaukee for the most bizarre political party convention in U.S. history, all while the other political party increasingly implodes over the fact that seemingly everyone wants Joe Biden not to run again, except for Joe Biden. It was a weird week. But there's still some more weirdness to squeeze out of it. There's still juice in that fruit. And let's begin with a couple loose ends from those aforementioned stories before we move on to the fact that this week also featured the worst cyber outage in history. Oops. Yeah, that happened. On top of everything else. These interesting times certainly are interesting and exhausting.
So one of the subplots to the Republican National Convention that we didn't get around to covering this week involved Weekly Weird News Hall of Famer George Santos, who unfortunately did not receive an invite to the festivities, but was more than happy to spill some tea about what things are like at the RNC after hours.
So, Grindr executives are calling the RNC convention the Grindr Super Bowl. Folks, look, I'm openly gay, no qualms about it, proud conservative Republican. I met my husband on Grindr and we've been together for 6 years going on 7, married for almost 3. Let me tell you something. Just come out the closet, boys. Come on. It's fun. You can be gay and conservative. But look, Grindr's already outing you anyway based on the hits. And guess who's in town? It's all you conservatives. Bye.
Okay, so Grindr, if you're not aware, is a gay dating app. Or for many of its users, it's a gay hookup app. And what George Santos was referring to in that video was this tweet by the account The Halfway Post on Monday. Breaking. An executive of the gay dating app Grindr says the Republican National Convention is basically Grindr's Super Bowl. Oh shit. And then someone quoted that tweet with this video captioned, "Opening Grindr at the RNC," showing someone quickly swiping through profiles on the app, showing dozens of users with locations very close by.
They're in the room. Now, one of Grindr's key features is something that no dating app for straight women would ever include for very obvious reasons. It uses GPS to show you your exact distance from the people whose profiles you are viewing, which makes it very easy to tell when a bunch of horny gays are congregated in a specific area. And on top of all that, there were reports this week that Grindr was experiencing outages in Milwaukee, indicating that so many people were trying to use the app that it crashed the servers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's always amusing when the party of choice for homophobic bigots is revealed to have lots of members who don't exactly practice what they preach. Many such cases. My favorite to this day remains Larry Craig in that airport bathroom.
Yeah, doing a little tap dancing.
I got a wide stance. What can I say?
Yeah, this is also, I think it was Darkwire, the Joseph Cox book, but there's a bunch of, any kind of cybersecurity book will mention, like, there's at one point during hearings about this kind of stuff of digital privacy, where someone just happens to pull some data that they can buy easily from stuff like Grindr and be like, hey, so a bunch of people in this room have logged, and then everyone freaks out. Yeah. And then stuff actually gets passed.
Grindr is, it's been around for like 15 years, and at this point, pretty notoriously bad infosec. You are exposing yourself quite a bit. It's been used in a lot of repressive countries because they're like, wait, if we have 3 phones all running Grindr, looking at the same profile, we can triangulate exactly where someone is so we can fucking arrest them.
It's like the previous, like the Fitbit military thing where everyone's just like, hey, these tracking apps are pretty cool, right? I should definitely wear it in Afghanistan. And then the other one is what happened to J.D. Vance, although like there's some suspicious stuff on it, but nothing like...
oh, the Venmo?
Yeah, everyone's just leaving their Venmos open.
Yeah, I mean, the most notorious case of that
Matt Gaetz.
was, of course, Matt Gaetz, who was paying hookers, allegedly.
Well, according to Kevin McCarthy, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, well.
But anyways, clean up your digital footprint, people. The thing is, though, the Twitter account, The Halfway Post, states pretty clearly in its bio that it is a satire account.
Oh.
And that's made even more obvious by just briefly scrolling through their posts. And that video of the Grindr profiles at the RNC, that same video was posted a few weeks earlier by someone attending a concert for gay singer-songwriter Troye Sivan. And those outage reports, well, the source for that was the site Down Detector, which relies on user reports for its data. And Grindr itself didn't log any outages during the RNC. So Fake news, maybe, but it did at least lead to a lot of very funny posts.
Yeah.
And also there was almost certainly at least a grain of truth to it all if previous RNCs are anything to go by.
Yeah.
Here's an article from Mel Magazine back in 2016 when the RNC was held in Cleveland.
According to data provided by Pornhub and Grindr, Peter Thiel was hardly the only gay to grace the RNC with his presence. Grindr told Mel that activity near the convention center in Cleveland on Wednesday night was 166% higher than normal. And on Sunday night, before the convention festivities officially began, Grindr use shot up 120% relative to previous evenings, suggesting the city experienced a sudden influx of Grindr users. On Monday, the overall user volume within a mile of the convention center was 18 times higher than usual. The word visiting was the second most used word among the profiles Grindr analyzed for this study. The first was fun. This revelation corresponds to a similar increase in the amount of gay porn viewed in Cleveland this past week. The Pornhub category Gay Hunks saw an extraordinary 421% increase in traffic in Cleveland from July 18th to 21st, Pornhub says.
That's why all those big, strong Republicans were just sweating and licking their lips when Hulk Hogan took the stage.
Yeah, he's
fun, he's big, he's hunky.
Yeah, I don't have the glossary in front of me, but he's definitely a bear for sure.
No, he's not hairy, Elliot.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, he doesn't have the, so yeah, let us know in the comments which gay signifiers would Hulk Hogan be? Which handkerchiefs would you stick in your back pocket if that's what you were into?
Yeah. It does continue. Whether or not those masturbators were gay male Republicans, however, is a little tough to say. They could be female Republican voters, who get off on watching two studs go at each other. Or they could be people who came to Cleveland to work the convention and are unaffiliated with the GOP. Or they could be sinful members of the liberal media. Perhaps most interestingly, though, is that searches for Muslim and Arab-related pornography was 204% higher than usual, a staggering figure considering the party's unapologetic Islamophobia this election season. And the scariest Pornhub data point is that searches for Trump-related porn increased 624% during the convention. So not only is there a swath of the American electorate that actually wants to vote for Trump, there are a good number of Americans who want to have sex with him too. Or at the very least, watch him fuck.
Gross. Don't like that.
No.
So yeah, that was 2016. And also in 2016, Vice reported on Grindr activity at both party conventions with official confirmation from Grindr itself. On the night of July 17th, the Sunday that check-in for the convention began, there was a 120% increase in users online in the area, more than all previous evenings in July. As of last Wednesday, a representative from Grindr tells Broadly, more than 1,000 guys have used the app near the Quicken Loans Arena. The total attendance of the RNC is estimated to have been roughly 20,000 people, so this data suggests about 5% of attendees used Grindr during the convention. Many of these users were visitors, meaning they had opened the app for the first time in Cleveland or Philadelphia in at least 3 months. 44% of the Grindr users near Quicken Loans Sunday through Wednesday were visitors to Cleveland, and 57% of the app's users near the DNC from Sunday to Monday were visitors.
So while the jury may be out on whether the 2024 RNC was in fact the Super Bowl for closeted gay Republicans, it sounds like the 2016 RNC certainly was, and there's no reason to think the 2024 RNC would be much different. But let's move on to another update on what was the weirdest moment of the 2024 election cycle so far. Trump avoiding death by mere inches when a young man shot at him during a campaign stop in Pennsylvania. And one of the weirdest aspects of this incident was how quickly it just sort of fell out of the news and discourse cycle.
Yeah, that just happened. Anyway.
Someone posted the day it happened that, I can't remember who posted it, but it said, it's so bizarre that within 10 days, no one will even be talking about this. And they were pretty prophetic in that remark. It's not that no one's talking about it, but you would assume in any other generation or timeline that this would be round-the-clock news, nonstop. And it is weird, like, you know, we've obviously spoken about it on a couple episodes, but my typical podcast subscription feed, which is very heavily on news and opinion, has largely avoided this specific reporting.
Yeah.
At least
because there's really not much to talk about. We have all the facts.
Yeah, and a lot of the things
pretty slim.
I listen to are very much like, it's like, you know, NPR and stuff. They're not going to go anywhere aside from like what they've been given. So anyways, if this had been some sort of furry, trans, Antifa leftist, you'd never ever hear the end of it. but the shooter left behind apparently nothing to indicate any sort of motive, and what little evidence we have of his politics indicates he leaned conservative. So without a discernible motive, it's just something that happened. One of the countless acts of gun violence this country experiences on a weekly basis. Except it also happened to involve a former president, who also doesn't seem to be very upset about it either.
No, if anything, he seems pretty stoked about it. He gets to wear that cool bandage, and all of his fans are crafting their own little bandages. And he gets to go on stage and say, "It was the most traumatic moment of my life. It's hard to talk about." While 7 of the biggest TVs you've ever seen behind him show the exact moment it happened. So
yeah, it's like they're
he's
trying
kind
to
of reveling in it.
They're trying to give him PTSD. That's like, could you imagine a war veteran going up in there and being like, Vietnam was the hardest thing I've ever experienced, and it's just like choppers and footage from the war.
Yeah, but even, I mean, you would expect, again, if this was a gay, furry, Antifa leftist,
they would never shut up.
Yeah, but so like at the RNC, there was lots of mentions of it, but it was always in this like vague thing. And
they kept saying they.
Yeah, they tried to shoot him.
Well, at least they're learning pronouns, I guess. No, it's kind of like, I mean, we bring it up every once in a while, but like the Las Vegas shooting, it was the biggest mass shooting in American history, and it's just kind of, there's not even a memorial there. I mean, it was just a parking lot, but like there's nothing there to signify.
Because, you can't blame it on anything except for the fact that it's extremely easy to amass a stockpile of fucking guns.
Yes,
and travel with them.
It's a very bad mark on America in multiple ways. So it's not really. It's just
the only reaction, the only sane reaction to it is why is
it so easy to get guns and ammo?
Why is it legal and easy for someone to do this? And as a country, we are absolutely ill-equipped to even acknowledge that question. So we simply move on, or come up with the conspiracy theories.
It's bizarre because for the past 25, 30 years, it's always been, this isn't the time to talk about it. And then a fucking president gets shot at, and it's still not the time to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just never going to be the time to talk about it.
So yeah, we may eventually get more of an idea of what motivated 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks to do what he did. But for now, it's just sort of grasping at straws. And as we discussed this week, that of course included looking into whether this was all video games' fault. Via some very embarrassing reports about a Steam profile that didn't even belong to Crooks and was clearly the work of a troll, editing the profile after the fact, with timestamps and everything. Come on. So yeah, for now we probably should just take any news about his motivations with a giant grain of salt until the investigation is actually complete. But here's something from the Daily Beast this week that's kind of interesting if it's true.
Yeah. The last search Thomas Crooks made on his cell phone before attempting to assassinate Donald Trump was for pornography.
Coomer.
A senior law enforcement source has told the Daily Beast. The source, who asked not to be named, said the FBI's Operational Technology Division in Quantico, Virginia, made the discovery when it finally gained access to 20-year-old Crooks' encrypted Samsung phone. Initial attempts at the Pittsburgh field office to crack open the Android device failed, and it was taken to Quantico on an FBI plane. The only other recent activity on the phone were texts from his parents asking where he was. The source says the parents thought their son had taken the AR-style rifle and gone to the shooting range where he sometimes practiced.
Oh, he's an Android user. Maybe he was bullied for having green bubbles.
That might be true because you need to fucking upgrade. I got Elliot on a group chat finally, and every time I see that green bubble pop up, it makes me angry.
Bubbles all look good to me. Maybe it's your phone. They look great on my phone. Have you considered that angle to this?
Complete offshoot, but Apple is doing like that RCS text or something now, so it's all going to be fixed.
They've been saying
it's all
that for
be
like
fixed
5 years.
Soon.
But yeah, I mean, like, look, we're looking for motives. We got nothing.
The green bubble is a good motive.
Maybe it was the green bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, kids can be pretty mean about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is pretty damn odd to make sure you crank one out just one last time before trying to assassinate a former president. But sure, I mean, this may very well be true. So we look forward to this whole thing being blamed on pornography and Thomas Crooks being labeled the Coomer shooter or the lone goonman.
I mean, that one's pretty good.
Yeah. So
there you go.
JD Vance already wants pornography to be completely banned at the national level, so stay tuned for that.
I mean, it's already as fast as you watched the legalization of weed map light up across America, you've seen the banning of porn apps.
Yeah.
Like it's multiple states now.
In Texas, you have to you have to put your dick print on the webcam.
Yeah.
So you can verify that it's you.
Yeah. It scans your
and
balls.
then you gotta spread your cheeks to do the anal print.
Yeah, you have to sit inside of a device that penetrates
and
you.
it's not automatic. There's no AI. It's actually a Texas government worker looking at.
It's Greg Abbott.
That's a penis. But
yeah, he has the scale of brown to white, and he's like, allow him into the porn site.
But moving on.
Yeah.
If the past week wasn't already unprecedented enough, we also got what has been described by a lot of people in tech as sort of like what would have happened with Y2K if it hadn't been prevented. The Y2K, for all the Zoomers in the audience who weren't even born yet, was the risk, the very real risk, that all the computers in the world would stop working due to running on code that was not set up to handle the clocks rolling over into a new century. And this week's big outage, it didn't affect all computers, but it did affect basically every computer that was managed by an IT department, which is a pretty big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Here's CNBC.
Businesses worldwide grappled with an ongoing major IT outage Friday as financial services and doctors' offices were disrupted, while some TV broadcasters went offline. Air travel has been hit particularly hard, with planes grounded, services delayed, and airports issuing advice to passengers. The outage came as cybersecurity giant Crowdstrike experienced a major disruption early Friday following an issue with a recent tech update. Crowdstrike CEO George Kurtz has since said that the company is actively working with customers impacted by a defect found in a single content update for Windows hosts, stressing that Mac and Linux hosts are not affected. Oh, good. This is not a security incident or cyber attack. The issue has been identified, isolated, and a fix has been deployed, he said on social media. One expert suggested it may be the largest IT outage in history.
Yeah, it was one update, one line of code in an update. People, a couple people on Twitter seem to have isolated what it was. And it's just like a little fucking thing. And it's like, and all of them are like, why would you deploy this to every computer, every one of your customers at once? It seems like, much like with
some stop gap issues right there.
Much like with the Secret Service at that Trump rally, it's just like, how the fuck did this, like you just had to like, completely, totally fuck up.
Because everything's always going fine till it isn't.
Yeah.
In every aspect of life.
But like apparently with updates to widely used software like this, they don't roll it out all at once. They do like a test run to like a random selection of customers and they roll it out over the course of like 24 to 48 hours. They rolled this one out all at once, and whoopsie, it was a bad one.
I don't particularly enjoy it because I've suffered from them in the past, but if you do want to enjoy someone having an anxiety and panic attack live on air, there's an interview with the CEO of Crowdstrike in the morning of Friday, and it is brutal to watch. Like, I don't feel bad for the guy, but like, it's hard to watch.
I mean, this is your fault, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was not a cyber attack. It was ironically due to a faulty update to cybersecurity software that just so happens to be used by basically every company and service on Earth. That includes every airline except for Southwest.
Oh, who's laughing now? Yes.
Yeah, I think there might have been others, but as far as I can tell, Southwest was like the only airline on Earth.
Yeah.
Their planes just kept on flying.
You get your ticket printed out on a dot matrix printer, and we're gonna type this into DOS, and we'll have you on your way.
I mean, not DOS, but
there's like Windows 3.
Windows 3.1. They have not updated since then. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hey, and they're right, but they're also open to probably some hacking issues.
I mean, probably, but like you see this with like a lot of like small businesses where they're still running the same shit from 25 years ago. So they're like, it works fine. Why would I update? Our computers here are here for one fucking purpose, and it does that job just fine. Yeah. Like you go to like a lot of like auto mechanics, they're still running like 35-year-old computers.
Yeah, it works.
They're like, why would I need fucking Windows XP?
Yeah.
They tried to fool me with that one. They tried to give me Encarta. I don't need that.
No.
I changed the oil on cars. So yeah, the outage also, it affected 911 systems, hospitals, public transportation, TV broadcasters, stock exchanges, grocery stores, restaurants, delivery companies, government agencies, hotels, banks, and more. Basically, any business that has like more than 10 employees who uses computers had to just stop.
We owe a debt of gratitude to the CEO of Crowdstrike who said everyone's had a hell of a week.
Yeah,
let's get everyone a day off.
Yeah, it's time to bring the 4-day work week in.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like, yeah, one company does have the power to just stop the global economy at will.
Yeah.
We place a lot of trust in these independent, non-state companies to keep the world turning. It's kind of crazy.
This incident did give us yet another just awesome version of the meme where a guy photoshops himself in front of like the logo of the business and said, "First day at Crowdstrike, just gonna push a little update and head home."
Yeah, the people I felt the worst for, I saw a couple examples of this.
Anyone in IT?
Well, IT people who were taking their much-deserved summer vacation.
Yeah.
Sitting by the pool, finally. No dealing with these fucking computers.
Yeah.
And they get a text and they're like, we need you to jump on. We're having some trouble. And the craziest thing is Microsoft, they're like, okay, there is a fix here.
You have to do it computer by computer.
You have to reboot each computer 15 times. They're like, okay, how hard could that be? It's like, if you're a company that has like 500 computers, you're spending all day just turning them on, turning them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they sorted it out, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not a cyber attack. Felt like one. But it was still hopefully a wake-up call to the fact that the whole world is running on computer systems that have single points of failure due to all running the same software, and how that's maybe a bit precarious. Or, if you're Elon Musk, or Ian Miles Chong, or any other chud on the internet, it was all the fault of DEI and wokeness. This is what happens when you let women work at companies. Just like with the assassination of Trump, this wouldn't have happened if they didn't put DEI women on the payroll of the Secret Service.
This is insane behavior. But also, did you see the video where Elon Miles Strong tried to like cosplay as an American again? He does his best American accent. It still just comes off completely weird sounding. And yeah, it's just strange. He's had a lot of comments about American politics in the past couple of days. And it's a constant reminder that he does not live here and has never been here.
I didn't follow up on this, but I heard that the meme about him being like prosecuted by Malaysia for pro-Israel sentiment actually came true, potentially. He like actually is being investigated for that.
Well, that's cool.
Anyway, stay tuned, I guess. But yeah, I think we could all go for some news right now that has nothing to do with any of the unprecedented events that the nation and the world are currently facing.
Thank you.
And thankfully, we've got a big news story out of Belgium that should do the trick. And one of our favorite recurring tropes on here is real-life superheroes and supervillains. We've seen many of the years. Penis Man, the Bromley Batman.
The guy that fought crime in Seattle.
Yeah.
The whole team of them up there, actually.
Yeah. We've seen many masked villains and heroes. And over in the beautiful, historic city of Bruges, they seem to have a new character that's either a superhero or a supervillain, depending on your specific point of view about historic architecture and how to act around it. He's calling himself the masked lover of architecture.
Well,
and his nemesis is apparently a local Dutch tour guide named Pascal Gerritsen. Here's VRT.
The Dutchman was involved in a guided tour and was sitting on the side of the historic Bonifacius Bridge when he was pushed into the water. At the time, it seemed without a clear reason. When I was sitting on the bridge, someone popped up behind me and pushed me into the water using both his hands, explained Pascal, who used to live in Bruges city center, but has now moved out to nearby Zedelgem. I climbed out of the canal, wrung out my clothes, put my shoes in a hedge to dry, and then finished the tour. In an email received by VRT News from somebody calling himself the masked lover of architecture, a man claiming responsibility for the attack motivates his actions by saying Pascal has no respect for architecture. The masked lover of architecture, he's got to work on that name. The masked lover.
It probably sounds better in Dutch or French or whatever language it is.
The masked lover of architecture tunen says he deliberately pushed the guide into the water last Thursday and was annoyed by the guide sitting on the historic Bonifacius Bridge in order to address his group.
According to the putative assailant, guided tours should not be turned into circus acts. It is forbidden to use street furniture, e.g. benches, dustbins, lampposts, to address tour participants, he writes. Unchallenged, the guide is allowed to climb onto our medieval architecture. He is destroying our cultural heritage by setting an example to thousands of tourists that this can and may be done by a guide, the email states. Until now, it was entirely unclear who pushed Pascal into the water. The attacker was able to flee the scene immediately and escaped on a bicycle.
Oh, he is Dutch.
Last week, Pascal speculated to reporters, maybe it is someone who does not like tourism in Bruges, and thought, I will push someone into the water at the busy Bonifacius Bridge. I have absolutely no idea who pushed me.
Like next time you're over in Bruges, taking in the most well-preserved medieval city in the whole of Belgium, Be very mindful not to sit or stand on any of the historic architecture.
And avoid any Irish people.
Or you're going to be having a serious problem.
Wir haben un serious problem.
The mass lover of architecture, he may be lurking nearby. Much like San Francisco's Bushman.
Looks like he's going to sit on that bridge, that historic bridge.
He better not. He will not hesitate to push you into the canal before speeding off on his bicycle. The perfect crime.
And the police can't catch him because the police are on bicycles too.
Yeah.
Not just bicycles, they're on penny farthings.
Okay.
He's going too fast.
No!
I do want to visit Bruges though.
I almost went when I was over there last time and I was like,
It's supposed to be the most well-preserved medieval city in all of Europe.
Should have gone.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's that. Well, no, it's not over yet. Don't worry.
No.
Don't go anywhere. In fact, click the like button now. Settle in. Click the like button. Make sure you're joined. There's no sponsor this week. If you join, click the join button. It supports the channel financially. We really appreciate it. Now, we will get into the weirdest, craziest, wildest headlines from around the world this week, starting with
fans seen entering Copa America final through vents of Hard Rock Stadium. It's so funny that so the Copa America is the continental FIFA tournament. So we had the Euros over in Europe. We have the Copa America over here, which is basically North and South America and the Caribbean. Gigantic, huge sporting event that I would say 95% of the population of the United States, where the event was held, probably weren't even aware it was happening. But it was a big fucking deal. And apparently just a total shit show from front to back. There were so many fights. People were storming the fields. And then in the final game, whoever was running the stadium in Florida, they're like, whoa, they just did not anticipate that people would try to break in. Yeah. So it was a near stampede. And yes.
Oh, the beginning, I saw videos where there was a literal crowd crush happening. And they had to pull some stuff out of the way.
Children. It was, they fucked up bad.
By the way, we have the World Cup coming here in just no time, and this is a great example of how horrifically things can happen.
But people were literally coming in through the vents. They broke into the AC system. And first of all, I didn't know. You see in movies, people are like, oh, I'll just go through the vents. And then you see vents in real life, and you're like, a person can't fit through that. That would never actually work.
Yeah.
But I guess at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami or whatever, they do have movie accurate.
Well, they got
vents.
they got to pump a lot of cold air down there in Miami. It's
it's another thing. Nobody was even aware this was happening. But for the people, it's all Latin American countries, of course. So we got also most of the people in this country see someone speaking Spanish and they're like, "That's a Mexican."
Yeah.
No. These people, all of their various feuds and gripes from their home countries really came home to roost during the Copa America. There was Colombians fighting Argentinians, Mexicans fighting Uruguayans. There was, even at watch parties at bars, people were getting stabbed and shit. It was wild.
Yeah. Soccer, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So it's over now.
Yeah.
But what a wild couple weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, Argentina
beautiful
won.
Sport.
Oh, also in the final, in the midst of all this chaos happening, the president of Colombian soccer got fucking arrested because him and his son got in physical fights with security for not letting them in fast enough. He was punching security guards. Yeah, it was a fucking shit show.
Damn.
Soccer.
Who would have thought?
If you've ever seen Europeans, you would have.
Hey, speaking of Colombia, Colombia faces a new problem. Too much cocaine.
This one has too much cocaine. This one doesn't have enough cocaine. Can we get a Colombia that's just right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a big problem because for decades, they had this sort of civil war happening down there, and the rebels, FARC, they funded their activities through cocaine sales, but the
news website hosted by Drew Curtis?
No, FARC with a C.
Okay.
But they settled the whole thing. There was a ceasefire 8 years ago or so, and apparently it has just destroyed the Colombian cocaine business. And there's these villages in really remote areas that that was their main source of income, was just picking wild cocaine and harvesting it picking wild coca and harvesting it into cocaine, and now it's it's a big problem.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, they got fucking hippopotamuses. They're not supposed to be there.
No, they're not.
And they can fly.
Well,
it ain't right.
Miami needs to divest itself from the crypto industry and reinvest itself into the cocaine industry. That's how Miami came to exist in the first place.
We need the cocaine cowboys.
That's right.
Cocaine cowboys, if you're listening,
pick up the phone. Destiny's calling.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like at this point, some drug cartel would see an opportunity here. It's all this cocaine. You're leaving cocaine on the table.
Yeah. Grown men were sobbing during Deadpool and Wolverine camera tests because Hugh Jackman showed up in Wolverine's yellow suit.
Oh, you were sobbing? Oh, did it make you cry? It's probably my most reactionary, like, genuine belief that, like, this fandom shit and the infantilization it's done is bad. And worse, it's cringe.
Yeah,
like, were people crying when they saw Christopher Reeve put on the Superman suit for the first time? Maybe a few of them were, but, like, I don't think it was like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that this is just like a headline and they got, like, specifically, like, the biggest dorks in the planet to, like, so I don't know. I feel bad just because it's like, look, if something's making people happy, I don't want to fucking shit on it. But also, the ages are important here. Like,
these are grown men.
Yeah.
Grown men.
All right.
Crying. And they're like, oh, it's finally, I mean, it is weird that he never wore the suit from the comics. But also, the new suit, still not the suit from the comics. It's got the colors right, but it's like fucking armor.
Yeah.
It's like all the new superhero movies, like they're like, well, if we put him in tights, it looks ridiculous. So let's just do armor that's like, kind of looks like the stuff from the comics.
Yeah.
So it's not the comics outfit. Now I'm sounding like one of these.
Yeah, you're a fucking dork. Why can't you just,
actually.
Look, everyone gives shit about the superhero movies and then one comes out that's dumb as fuck and they still don't want it.
Yeah, I am so sick of this movie. The marketing has been
Look, I'm
nonstop.
I'm fine with it existing. I'll probably watch it. But yeah, it is annoying when you see a trailer for it and then they do another trailer that intros the movie that you're there to see anyway.
Well, and it's not just trailers. They've done all these brand integrations.
You see the Deadpool butt controller?
Go away.
Yeah.
Go away.
Anyways, I'm sure maybe it's what people need. They need to laugh.
Do we need a third Deadpool movie? Also,
we don't need any movie out. Like there's so many movies that come out that are just pointless.
Also, Hugh Jackman, like Logan, I really liked Logan.
It was a great
I felt it was a really good send off for the character. And then this, I'm like, all right, well, who the fuck cares? I guess he's back. Great job.
In between Logan and this, I got to see him perform as the lead in The Music Man on Broadway.
I mean, that's what he truly cares about.
He loved it.
Hugh Jackman is such a fascinating guy because he was always just a musical theater guy, and then they cast him as Wolverine.
Yeah.
And he became that. But obviously, yeah, he probably cares about the character, but he cares a lot more about singing and dancing up on that stage.
It was weird, though, seeing like a character who traditionally I've only seen in the movie version where he's just kind of like a weird dude, and then Hugh Jackman is just still obviously very ripped.
Yeah, and he's tall.
Yeah.
Which also, like, listen, nerds, if you're crying, what you should be crying about is the fact that Wolverine, canonically, is like 5'6". He's a little
short
guy.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's like over a foot taller. You should be crying about that, because it's incorrect.
He needs to get back to his two passions, singing and dancing, and making delicious Australian coffee. You remember he started that coffee company? And
no.
we interviewed him, and he was like all about it.
I don't remember.
Well, at the time we had a fan interview him, but we were there and he was promoting his coffee. So he loves coffee, singing and dancing, and if playing Wolverine for the children, the adult children, gets him more money to do what he loves, then I'm all for it.
Sure, fine. Florida man had hours-long junk food feast inside closed Walgreens, police say.
Good for him.
And the cop showed up. He's like, what? What did I do? I went into the bathroom 5 minutes before closing, and wouldn't you know, when I came out of the bathroom hours later, I was locked in. What was I supposed to do? Starve to death?
Starve? I didn't know how long I was going to be in here.
What was I supposed to do? Go without cigarettes? Because he was taking like cartons. He was smoking.
That's an addiction, buddy.
He was drinking. He was having a real feast. And the cops showed up, and they're like, "Good on the ground." He's like, "What? What did I do?"
He was surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have checked the toilets.
That's on Walgreens.
Yeah.
New Hampshire House candidate hopes voters can look past his murder conviction.
And it's New Hampshire, so can you guess which political party this man belongs to?
The Libertarians?
That's right.
Yeah. Live free and die.
Yeah. He committed like a pretty brutal like revenge murder / robbery in his youth. And he's like, you know what? I served my time. I've changed. I've discovered the truth of libertarian economics. And that's why I want you to pick me as your representative for the state of New Hampshire. We're going to get rid of garbage service. New York is adding trash cans. We're taking them away.
Yeah.
Let the bears eat.
That's right.
Let the bears eat.
Nature will work itself out.
We're going to get rid of roads. You want to drive somewhere? Better start paving, buddy.
Your house on fire? You better get out the hose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want a job? Better start learning Chinese, buddy.
That the NBA commissioner joke?
I was so sad when I found out he didn't actually say that.
No, of course he didn't say it. It's a fucking joke. It's a meme.
Better start learning Chinese, buddy.
Don't name your kids Boda, Skibbity, or Evil, Malaysian agency tells parents.
I think Boda means like stinky or something. I don't know. I don't know why that's listed there, but Skibbity, like, that's wild.
The funniest joke I saw in the past few weeks about that is like, that's what an Amish person should name their kids, Skibbediah.
No, they shouldn't. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't name your kids memes.
Yeah.
Also, I think I've said this before, but it took me like several months before I realized that it was Skibbity and not
Skibbity?
Skibbity.
Yeah, no, I thought it was Italian.
Skibbity toilet.
Yeah.
Hey, what are we doing with the Skibbity toilet? I still haven't even seen, I mean, I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, I've never
but, like,
seen an
what
actual
is it?
video of
It's
it.
just a head and a toilet?
Yeah.
Why do the kids go wild for this Skibbity? Why are people in Malaysia thinking about naming their kids Skibbity?
The kids yearn for machinima.
I guess so.
Yeah.
The Source filmmaker's still going strong.
Yeah, and why shouldn't it be?
Yeah. Violence is not the way to go, John Hinckley Jr. in recent social media post.
I mean,
it took him like a day. Like, I remember while this was all happening last Saturday.
What John Hinckley
thinks. I'm like, wait, John Hinckley's on Twitter. Let's check his profile. He didn't say anything, but like the next day.
He's just selling his beautiful cat paintings.
Not only did he say violence is not the way to go, he said violence is not the way to go. Give peace a chance.
Yeah.
Which is a direct quote from John Lennon.
Yeah.
The man well, no, he didn't kill John Lennon. That was the other guy.
Yeah.
Hinckley shot Reagan.
Yeah.
So, a nice little ironic.
Yeah. And apparently just selling the same painting of a cat over and over again.
Yeah. Well, he would prefer to be touring, playing live music, but everywhere that books him has to cancel the show. I don't know if he's managed to play a single show. He's booked so many, and every time the venue is just like, okay, yeah, we started getting death threats.
Yeah.
So
we got a call from the local news.
We're not going to do this.
Yeah.
He's fine. The hospital said the only reason he's been released is because he has been given a clean bill of mental health.
Yeah.
And he was legitimately insane when he did that shit. Huh. It's like one of the few times the insanity defense has actually worked out. So I think we should not only give peace a chance, give John Hinckley Jr. a chance.
Yeah, he should run for being a member of the House in New Hampshire.
I mean, as good as anything else they're doing up there.
Law enforcement warns of hugging robbers in Southern California. Uh-oh.
We got Slingshot Man.
What, do they come up and hug you and then steal while they're hugging?
Yeah, it's like, this is down in Orange County, it sounds like. But yeah, people walk up and they're like, where's my hug? They don't know if they say that, but they approach, they're like, and it's usually a young woman. And and she hugs you and then steals jewelry off of you.
Well, I don't wear any jewelry, so I'll be fine.
That's why I don't wear any jewels. I don't want the hugging robbers after me.
They're gonna take my running watch away from me. Then how am I gonna track my runs?
So yeah, if you're in Southern California and a stranger comes up asking for a hug, as tempting as it might be to hug that complete stranger, don't.
They're gonna set up out in front of the Deadpool Wolverine screenings. Who needs a hug?
Where's my hug?
Who needs a hug? I know that was an emotional journey for
Free
a lot of
hugs. There's always one guy at like Comic-Con. It's just like, ugh.
It's always the hugs you don't want.
Yeah.
Especially when they're stealing from you.
Cybertruck, no match for the fury of hungry raccoons.
This has already been beaten into the earth, but yes, it is ironic that the Cybertruck looks like a giant trash can and then was sought out by some raccoons, who, by the way, did a damn good job.
Yeah, it was
trying
like
to get in.
That cover that goes down over the truck bed or whatever. Yeah, they tore they tore it apart. It was like I don't know if they got in, but they did a damn good job at it. I think the real story here, though, is that your average Cybertruck owner thinks I've got a truck now, so I'm rugged. And they're going out into the wilderness and keeping fucking food in their car. Like,
a bear would have had no problem.
There were multiple comments in the actual Cybertruck forums where people were like, you're lucky like a fucking bear didn't find this because the bear would have absolutely ripped that car to shreds.
Yes. And also, the raccoons did a worse job on the Cybertruck than they would have on a normal car.
Yeah.
A normal car, they wouldn't have gotten, like a Subaru. You close the hatch, they're not getting, a bear might, obviously, but like raccoons, they're going to put their little hands and go, oh, this isn't working. But
it's wilderness 101.
Yeah.
You don't keep fucking food in your car. You don't keep it anywhere. You tie it to a tree.
No, Elliot, have you seen this? Is made out of stainless steel.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to get in there. The food is the safest it could possibly be.
It's bear-proof.
Yeah.
Anyway, final headline. Atlanta man drives to South Carolina to lower Confederate flag on interstate, deputies say. He's a hero.
Wait,
he drove 300 miles just because he heard there was a big Confederate flag on the interstate, and he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna try. I got time. I'm gonna cross state lines to go pull this flag down.
I swear, when as you're reading this headline, I thought that someone, as a reaction to the assassination attempt, went and lowered it half-mast.
No.
That's what I thought you were getting to.
The Confederate flag flying at half-mast.
Yeah, because of the president?
No, he removed it because
because it's obviously
because it represents
racist.
slavery and yeah. And this is a white dude too, so a real ally.
Yeah.
Using his white privilege to trespass and remove Confederate flags from
the sadness of our general reality led me to the fact that someone was going to go lower the rebel flag to half-mast as an
Someone's got to do it
as an honor to former President Trump almost getting killed.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people did do that.
We got to check in on the one that's on I-4 and I-75.
Yeah, the one that's like 40 feet
in Florida.
wide. Yeah, someone needs to do something about that.
Lower it.
Remove it.
Anyways, that's it for this week's episode. What a crazy week it was.
I'm sick of this week.
Surely next week will be much better.
And hopefully nothing insane happens while I'm editing this video like it did last week.
Yeah.
Because that really made my day harder.
Yeah. Anyways, we do have other videos for you to watch, but first, please give the video a like. Please like the video. If you're feeling frisky, you got some money burning a hole in your pocket this summer, click the join button. Give us $5.
Give us some walking around money.
Thank you. Now you can watch our other videos that are popping up over there. We have just 2 crazy videos of a breakdown of a week of RNC.
The RNC and the Joe Biden situation, which we didn't cover in this episode, but it continues developing. And maybe, who knows? Maybe that will be the news that happens while I'm editing this fucking piece of shit.
Nobody knows.
God damn it.
So check out both of those videos for all of your absurd RNC needs, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.